Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M Lawson, and I am back with a new episode of Meet the World Image Solutions. We are going to be talking about money tonight. Money is everybody's favorite subject. So what I want you to do is make sure that you're not only listening in, but you can also comment your questions. And if you don't feel comfortable commenting your questions because you don't want everybody in your business, which I understand, then what you can do is you can call in. You can even disguise your voice if you want to. You know, like, remember Richard Pryor when he was at the auction? It was an old movie from the 70s, and he got up and he said, "Hello, I want to ask a question." You know, he didn't really sound like that. So you can do something like that. Now, if you would like to call in, we have a new phone number, so do not pay attention to the phone number that you may have seen on the flyer. I want you to call, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but this is the phone number for real. 563-999-1808. That is 563-999-1808. And we'll remind you of that phone number throughout the show. So we really want this to be an interactive show because we have with us tonight a woman who is no stranger to the New Orleans Talk Network. She is the money coach. We call her Dr. G, but her name is Dr. Yulonda T. Griffin.
Yes, thank you for that.
Hey, I am so happy to have you in the studio with me. I mean, it's like we ran in the same circles for almost 2 years without really formally meeting, you know?
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy how that happens, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so glad that you're here tonight. As I told you on the phone when we were discussing the show, I really wanted this show to be all about you because I wanted you to really dive into credit because credit has become such a major issue.
Has.
And I did a live right before the show.
Okay.
And one of the things I was talking about is changing our mindset. I had a man who actually used to work for the IRS. Mm-hmm. And what he said was that people being late and people procrastinating has a direct correlation to why they are broke. Right. So many times when you see a person who's always late or who always procrastinates, they are probably broke because they put off so much. And an example that I gave was, let's say you get a $25 bill in the mail, mm-hmm. and it's not due until, let's say, June 15th. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, I got time. This is only the 1st.
Right.
And so then you go about your business, and then you forget about that bill. And then by the time you get ready to pay it, it's late. So now they've tacked on a $25 late fee. Now, because you don't have $50, but you did have $25, now you're letting it ride. And next thing you know, now the bill is $75. Yeah. When we could have just paid it at $25. But it's because we put it off.
Yeah.
And so do you see a lot of that?
And there is no excuse.
Yes.
I think it goes back to what you said earlier. If you see people running late all the time, then that's a sign that they probably are broke. Or it may be a sign that they're not good managers.
Yes.
To gain wealth, to establish wealth, to form wealth, to design wealth.
Come on.
To create wealth.
Yes.
You must be a planner and a manager.
Yes.
And today with so much technology and really financial institutions, rather they're loan companies, banks, credit cards, car loans, whatever type of finance you're in, everybody has a automated system or a reminding system that reminds you your bill is coming up.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I'm basically on automated with a majority of my finances. Mm-hmm. And I still get emails, text messages, some in the mail that will remind me that my bill is due.
Yes.
Or will remind me that, it's 90-day checkup on my portfolio. So there's so much technology out there to help us. But I would like to say statistics have proven each culture is different.
Okay.
And of course, African Americans are still at the bottom. The Mexicans have surpassed us. The Asians have surpassed the Caucasians,
But why
but
is
we're
that?
still at the bottom. And again, culture. We don't like to go all the way back to um, slave mentality, but you have to remember one of our weakest points is education.
Yes.
We've had a lack of education since we put foot on American soil, and we have been lacking in education ever since.
But now, do you think that that's changing slightly? Because today, African American women actually lead the country in the most advanced degrees earned. And we see
Advanced
more.
degrees earned,
Right.
but you are a PhD earner. I'm a PhD. How much of that PhD education taught you about money?
Absolutely right. And that's what I was getting at. We have a lot of education,
Right.
but we don't always have financial education. And I'm sure you've probably read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And that's one of the things he talked about. His real dad was poor dad, and he could only teach finances based on what he knew.
That's right.
But then Rich Dad, his best friend's dad, was rich and actually taught him about finances in an entirely different way. And so I think you may be right on. Yeah, we might have the education, we might have the book education, but how do we learn how to turn our debt into wealth? How do we learn how to not even get debt? And why do we keep thinking that debt is such an ugly word? Because sometimes debt can actually be a good thing depending on how you're using it.
Right, how you're using it. It could be a good thing if it's an investment that's going to bring income into your portfolio. It could be an investment down the line, like real estate. I love real estate. It's a long-term investment. Even, people will say, well, sometimes the economy will shift real estate. Doesn't matter. What we need to understand about wealth is like a zero or the letter O. It's circular. It just keeps spinning. It never stops. And whatever happened, like the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yes.
What has been will be and is to come. So the point I'm making to that is in 2008, we had a real estate collapse.
Yes.
Right? And a lot of people's properties lost their values. You owed more than what your actual home was valued at. But now, here we are 10 years later, and the value of your homes in some locations have quadrupled.
Yes.
Especially here in New Orleans.
Yes. I mean, I know a person who paid less than $100,000 for her house prior to Katrina. After Katrina, just a couple years ago, she went on to Zillow to see what her Zestimate is.
Yeah.
And it's almost triple what she paid for her house.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at the property values in different areas. Even, we were talking last week, the lower Ninth Ward.
Yes.
Where lots were 5,000, 8,000 are now anywhere from 25, 50, 75, and 100.
Right.
In the lower Ninth Ward. So real estate to me is one of the greatest investments you can make is real estate. And so when you think about that, right now the National Association of Real Estate Brokers organization is trying to create at least 2 million African American homeowners across America. But one of the challenges we're finding is credit.
Yes. Which is a great segue into this wonderful book you've written called Do It Yourself Credit Repair Guide. So we don't actually have to go pay somebody to fix our credit for us?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
In actuality, I don't recommend you go pay anyone to do your credit. I am an educator, a financial literacy coach. So I teach and educate people. Learn to do it yourself.
Yes.
I can either teach you how to fish or I could feed you the fish.
But if you feed me the fish, I'm just going to eat that one time.
That's
you teach
right.
me how to do it, I can continue to eat.
Go. So I want to I want to show you how to fish with the Do-It-Yourself Credit Repair Guide. And it's written in ABC Mickey Mouse language.
Yes.
It's no big words or anything. It's simple language. It's step by step, just what it says. If you follow the book just the way it's written, I promise you, money back guaranteed.
Come on. Not money back guaranteed.
Money back guaranteed. Your score is going to increase.
I'm taking this book home tonight.
Testimonies of people who have used the book. Right on the back, you can read her testimony. Whose scores have gone from 350 to 750.
Wow. My credit score is now in the 700s, which gave me the ability to choose the car I wanted and not have to settle because of my credit like I have had to do in the past. On Friday, October 20th, I became a home buyer. That is big.
And why is the credit so important? Because when you know what your score is,
yes,
you can literally walk into any financial institution, not just financial institutions, insurance companies, even jobs today.
Yes.
Certain jobs, contingent on what it is.
I can attest to that. I just started a new job on Monday.
Uh-huh.
And part of the background check was a credit check. And if he saw anything that even looked questionable, I had to explain that.
That's
now,
right.
in order to avoid that, it's best to just make sure you have a strong credit history.
That's right. And so we are trying to educate our people to understand. And even if you say, you know, I'm not going to use my credit, you never know.
Right? You never know.
You never know.
What happens if a big medical bill comes up?
You never
What happens
know.
if your dream home is all of a sudden available? You've been driving down, let's say, Gentilly Boulevard or something, and you saw that house you've been looking at for all these years, and all of a sudden you said, hey, there's a for sale sign, I want that house.
That's right. Or even refinance.
Yes.
You know, if the rates go down, remember when the collapse occurred in 2008, it was a plus and a minus. For some, it was an advantage. For others, it may have been a disadvantage. But for those who were looking to reduce their rates,
Yes.
that was a good opportunity because rates got all the way down to almost 0%, right? And so credit is a major asset to your financial portfolio.
And you know what, going back to that background check that I was talking about earlier, actually somebody had told me that a friend of theirs had a job offer, but that offer was rescinded because of that person's credit.
Because of that person's credit. And look at that. You lost out on a major opportunity in your life. And you know, we have talking with the apostle the other day, he said 8 years ago, he said, I either was running or I was hiding. And I said, you can't run and you can't hide. You either going to pay now or you're going to pay later.
Right.
But either way, you're going to pay.
Yes, yes.
So better to, I tell my mentees, face that demon head on. Just say, hey, I have to deal with it. Let me see what steps I need to take to get it right.
Yes.
What do I need to do to get this journey going so that I can get on the right track, make the right decisions, and make some changes to my credit profile?
Okay, well, what we're going to do is take a quick break because what I want to do is jump in to how we can make some changes, because I think a lot of people are afraid to make these changes because they think they do have to go hire somebody to do it.
Yes.
Or they think they have to wait years and years and years to see changes.
Yes.
And they don't know how to do it. So I would love to be able to jump into some tips. And we don't have to go through the entire book.
That's okay.
But I would love to be able to jump into some tips as to
Sure.
how we can fix our credit, how we can start looking at credit differently, changing our mindsets.
Yes,
Okay,
that works.
All right. So we will be right back with Dr. G, and we're gonna jump into some of those tips. If you have questions, remember, you can either comment them under the show in the comments, or you can call in and ask the question. And so when we get back, we're gonna give you that number because producer took it down, but. Okay, there it is. 563-999-1808. That's 563-999-1808. We'll be right back. You stay right there. And while you're gone, go ahead and share this show with a few friends. Everybody hit the share button, hit the like button. Let's make this show go viral because there's some information that everybody needs to know.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back.
All right. Take a look.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
We have been talking with Dr. G, also known as Dr. Yulonda T. Griffin, the money coach, author, talk show host, teacher, trainer. What else you do?
Speaker, preacher, mother, wife, daughter. Hey, I'm everyone.
There you go, singing now.
It's all
Yes. All right. So, but we've been talking about finances. We've been talking about financial empowerment, building our wealth. We've been talking about credit. And before we went to break, we were actually about to jump into some ways that we might be able to fix our credit now. And it may not actually take years and years to do. I've seen some people make their credit scores jump about 100 points in a year, but it takes some discipline.
It takes some discipline. I recommend to everybody to check your credit report at least twice a year. Usually I do mine in January and June.
Okay.
So yesterday I sat down and looked at my credit report. Business report, personal report, my husband's report, because he's not going to do it. So the point I'm making is just what you just said, maintaining and setting in place systems that's going to help you stay on top of your credit report. Also, I would say everybody should be a member of some type of a credit monitoring system.
Okay.
So we
something
all
like
know.
A Credit Karma or something
Well,
like that?
everybody's familiar with Credit Karma. I like Credit Karma, but Credit Karma doesn't monitor all three of your credit reports. And so I would say, look for some of the credit bureaus offer a monitoring system for you. You have different ones out there. You could go to my website, ygliv.com. I have some on my website that you can check out. But those credit monitoring systems helps to notify you when something hits your credit report.
Okay.
And that's another, like I say, there's so much technology out here that if you take advantage of it, it will help you stay on top of your credit. So I would say, one, check your credit report twice a year. Everybody gets one free credit report.
Yes.
So you should take advantage of that at www.annualcreditreport.com.
That's annualcreditreport.com. And I think we're going to have the producer put that website into the comment section so that way people can refer back to it. So that's www.annualcreditreport.com.
Right, and that's the credit reporting company that's been set up by the government to ensure that every citizen of the United States gets that free credit report. And you don't just get it from one bureau, you get it from all three, which is why I say Credit Karma is good, but they only monitor 2 reports. And most sources that will monitor your credit for free is only going to give you 2 sources. And so they're either going to do TransUnion and Equifax, or they're going to do one or the other, but they won't give you all 3.
Right, right.
So that's why I think it's important that you monitor your own credit, pull your once a year credit report.
Now, I did want to ask you about that. You said that we should be checking our credit at least twice a year. Is there a harm in checking it more than twice? I mean, we don't want to check it every day. It's not going to change that quickly.
If you're a part of a monitoring program, you can check your credit every day.
Okay.
And it will not harm your score.
Okay.
It's what we call soft pulls and hard pulls. Hard pulls are credit pulls on your report when you are applying for credit.
Yes.
Soft pulls are pulls you're pulling, or pulls the credit bureau is pulling because you have some form of a complaint against your credit report that you would like to challenge. Those type of pulls will not harm you.
Okay.
So if you're in a monitoring system, you can go and pull your credit report every day if you choose to.
Okay. Now, you said that if we have some type of complaint against us, is that something usually you'll see a lot of small business owners use?
Small business owners, I recommend Dun & Bradstreet. It's a little expensive. You also have, Lord, what's this? Now, Experian is beginning to offer small business owners a new business credit reporting system. So you can go through Experian, and I think they're trying to give D&B some competition. The reason I say D&B is because if you're trying to become a federal government business owner where you can get contracts as a black-owned business or a woman black-owned business, then I would say go with Dun & Bradstreet, because the first thing they ask you on a credit application is what's your D&B number. Then if you tell them you have a D&B number, they're going to go pull that business report from Dun & Bradstreet.
That's good to know. That's good to know. I mean, because I know I myself did not even think about Dun & Bradstreet. And there may be a lot of small business owners out there who are thinking about their personal credit, but not even thinking that there's also their business credit.
Yes, your business credit.
And if you're running your business well and you need to get a line of credit for your business, these banks are going to be looking at your business credit.
That's right. So you want to be able to build, and you want to keep them separate. You want to have as less credit and money connected to your personal name as possible.
Yes, yes.
Right.
They say you want to own as little as possible. Things should be in a trust. I also noticed that you have some, and I don't know where I'm jumping, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more later, but I noticed that you have an S corporation, C corporation. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well, and what the differences are, what the advantages are, and we can talk about that maybe a little bit further in the show.
Sure, no problem at all. So we were talking about how many times should you monitor your credit report, how often should you look at it, and then let's talk about dealing with derogatory information.
Yes.
One of the challenges a lot of people have, especially those who are first, second, and thirds, or junior, senior, this first, second, third, maybe have your name might be Rhonda, R-H-O-N, but your daughter might be Rhonda, R-O-N-D-A.
Yes.
And sometimes when you have people living in the same household at the same address with similar names, the credit bureau will interchange them together. They will commingle them because they're thinking you're using an alias name. So one of the main things you should do with your credit report is look at your personal information. A lot of people don't pay attention to their personal information, and you go and look at that to make sure that your name is spelled right. Make sure it has your right date of birth. Make sure that's your social security number. Make sure that's your right address.
Yes.
Understand? And if you see addresses on there that you never lived at, challenge those addresses, because that's another file that's being placed on you that may not be yours.
Another example, something that happened to me, is I was trying to get in, this was when I was younger, I was trying to get an apartment. And they told me that I had a foreclosure or a bank, I can't remember what it was. Somebody else, but they told me that it was in an entirely different city I had never been to. I had to prove to these people that that was not me. That was somebody else who had my name, who had the same name as me, but it was not me. And even though I showed them proof that on that date when it supposedly happened, I wasn't there, they said, well, that still could have been you. It took forever to try to prove to these people that that wasn't me.
So you were a victim of identity theft.
I don't even think it was identity theft. I think it was two people who had similar names, and for some reason, this whatever she did ended up on my credit report.
But so when there's two ways you have to correct or challenge erroneous information. If that happened to you, then the creditor had to prove it was you.
Yes.
Okay, which means they had to be able to submit a signed application by you.
Yes.
And then you could have challenged it against the signatures. Okay, another way for you to protect yourself from identity theft, and a lot of people had challenges with LifeLock, but I still think they're one of the #1 companies that will give you 24-hour protection, because you can connect all your information with them, and I like them. Another company is Mint.com. Mint monitors all 3 of your credit bureaus.
Okay.
Mint monitors your checking account, your savings account, your credit cards. And so they too will let you know when something hits your account. And that way you can look at it to see. I think last month we get, every time our bank account has something that happens to it, or our credit cards, we get a text message.
Okay.
So I get
that's no fancy watches, yo.
That's my Apple Watch.
That's your Apple Watch. It's all diamond encrusted and everything.
my children. I have millennials, and they into all that stuff. But we got a text I say the Spirit woke me up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I woke up and the Spirit said, go look at your checking account.
Wow.
So I picked up my watch and I see the text, and I said, what? So I go online and I opened up my checking account, and there it was. Somebody had hit my account for $3,500. Wow. So I was like, okay, I'm going to deal with this in the morning. But the Holy Ghost said, no, call them now. They're open. The 24-hour number. So I call Chase Bank, right, and I tell them, listen, I have a hit on it's pending for $3,500, and then they had another one by the same company for $1 something. I don't know. But watch this. Because I called them immediately and it was in pending mode, they were able to stop it immediately. So those type of things, if your bank system and your credit card company has a text notification, do it.
Yeah, I will tell you, sometimes it's a headache, especially if you go out of the country, and I spend a lot of time out of the country. And I've gone to use a debit card or a credit card, and there was a block on it. And the reason why there was a block on it is because I was using the card in a country that they weren't used to seeing me in.
Right.
And so, yes, it was a headache, but I really was thankful for that protection.
That's right.
Because that almost happened to me, where somebody tried to pay for a hotel and I think Finland or something. I wasn't even in Finland, but because I had those protections on my card, that card was not able to go through. So I mean, it's a headache.
But you could call your bank, or you can even go online in your checking account online.
Yes.
And you can let your bank know, or even your credit card on your online account. You can let them know I will be traveling too.
Yes. And a lot of times we forget to do that. But,
right. But that's why I say, create a checklist.
Yes.
This again, wealth is a process.
Yes.
It is circular. It's ongoing. It never stops. So that means you have to be a planner. So you have to put in systems in place, just like you do with this show. You have a system, right?
Right.
You have a check and adjust, right? Am I right?
A check and adjust.
A check and adjust, right? That's what we say. It's called the PDCA system. We plan, we do, we check, we adjust.
Okay.
We plan, we do, we check, and adjust. So that PDCA system can work in every area of your life.
Okay. I guess it's time to take another break.
All right.
So we're going to take this quick break. Look, he even put the note up there, time for a break. I know it's time for a break. Man, our producer is so bossy. What's going on with him? But we're going to take a break. We still would love to have your questions. Don't forget to like and share the show and put in your comments. Let us know what you think. Give us your opinion, ask some questions. And we want to see you when we get back. So you stay right there, invite your friends. And while you're gone, look up this book, Do It Yourself Credit Repair Guide, Living in Victory, Do It Yourself by Dr. Yulonda T. Griffin. We'll be right back. Uh-oh.
What it do, y'all? It's DJ Slick Daddy from the Liveline, here to tell you about the hottest bar on the West Bank, After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelco Boulevard in Gretna. Come check us out on Monday for steak and oyster night. Thursday, free seafood night. Friday, 3-for-1 happy hour. Saturdays, ladies night, and always open for parties. And then Sunday, Saint Sunday, oldie but goodie Sunday. Come find out what is hidden for at After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelco Boulevard in Gretna. Doors open at 6, 12 p.m. on Sundays. After Dark is a non-smoking atmosphere.
Hey yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ Slick Daddy.
This DJ Slick 514.
And of course, I'm your girl, Black Coco.
Tune into the Liveline, New Orleans Talk Network, every Tuesday, 7 to 8:30 with all the trending topics.
And you can also check out my mix, DJ Slick Mix Quote 1 and 2.
And of course, check out Coco's Sex Tips of the Week.
And hashtag TTBS. That's that bullshit. It's the Liveline, New Orleans Talk Network, Tuesday, 7 to 8:30. We're always live. Let's go.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there. Okay, y'all, we're
Technology.
back. Gotta love technology.
Gotta love it.
So we are back, and we're sitting here. I'm about to lose your book. We're sitting here talking to Dr. G, Dr. Yulonda T. Griffin, author of the book Do It Yourself Credit Repair Guide. And what I like about this book, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier, it's not a bunch of big words in it, because I think sometimes when we talk about wealth building and we talk about credit repair, it sounds scary.
Yes.
And then we start to turn our minds off because they make it seem like such a science. But this isn't so much of a science as it is just a little bit of disciplined spending, maybe?
discipline in spending, but credit is it's about managing. And credit is about understanding what you can manage. I'm speaking on Friday, and their theme is Kingdom Mindset.
Okay, where are you speaking?
At the Break the Silence conference with Dr. Patricia Fry.
Yes.
Yeah, on Friday at 9 a.m. And I'm excited about this topic because what we need to understand with credit, it's about management, monitoring. Just what I say, plan, do, check, and adjust.
Yes.
And so not so much about budgeting as it is about managing and understanding what I can and cannot afford.
And that's a big one. We think because we have, let's say, $200 in the bank, that we can afford that $100 pair of shoes or something. But if we have $200 in the bank, but we have $400 worth of bills that we haven't gotten to yet, then we can't technically afford those $100 shoes.
So your credit is about you understanding budget. What can my budget consist of?
Yes.
And once I understand that I have a credit card, and this card has a limit of, let's just say, $1,000.
Yes.
Don't charge it all the way up to the $1,000. You're really, now watch this. A lot of people are going to say, well, what's the point in having the credit card?
I mean, well, you have a point. If I got $1,000, why I can't spend $1,000?
Because it's going to take your score down by almost 40-something points.
Because they look at your credit, how much of your available credit are you using?
They're looking at ratio. And so you cannot, the rule is not to charge more than 20 to 25% of your approved limit.
Yes.
So you're saying, so what are you saying to me? The most I could spend on $1,000?
It's about what? $200.
About $200, $250. And the reason being is they want to see how well you can manage that.
Yes.
You can charge every month. Just make sure you keep the balance at that $250.
And I learned there's some ways that you can do that. Let's say you do spend, let's just say $300 of that $1,000. You don't have to wait until that bill comes in to pay that $300.
Right. You can pay on it before the bill is due. You can pay half now and the rest before the bill is due.
Right. And which saves on finance charges.
That's right, which saves on your finance charges. But we go back to that same word, managing. It's all about you managing your credit.
Yes.
Right? And every creditor gives you a 30-day grace period. Now, some of them might say, I'm going to give you 15 or 16 days before I charge you a late fee. But as long as you pay that bill in that 30-day allotment, it won't go against your score. It won't be listed as late. Right? So that's the important piece of credit. Managing your personal information, managing what is on your credit report, and making sure your credit report is well balanced.
Yes.
Meaning you can't have all credit cards. You can't have 2 car notes on one credit file is a no-no.
So you should have at least paid one off if you're going to have 2 cars.
That's right. 2 houses, 3 houses. You might could get away with 2 houses, but when you start putting 3 houses on your credit portfolio, it begins to raise flags because now they want to see what your debt ratio is. Which is why you want to begin investing. If you're going to become a real estate investor and you're going to buy 3 and 4 and 5 houses, then you need to set up an investment corporation and purchase those homes under that corporation opposed to your personal name. So I have a rule. Keep as much of your financial business, whether personal or professional commercial out of your name.
Yes, makes sense. And is that where we're going to come into these corporations?
That's where we can come into these corporations.
All right, let's talk about these corporations. If you have questions, 563-999-1808. We're about to jump into these S corporations and C corporations and LLCs and sole proprietorships. Oh my goodness, what are we doing? If I'm an LLC, am I wrong? Am I supposed to have an S corporation? Am I supposed to have a C corporation? I'm a small business person. I'm only one person, so should I be a sole proprietor?
But it doesn't matter. You have major corporations that are LLCs, $1,000,000, multi-million-dollar corporations that are LLCs. You have corporations that are individually owned. They are corporations, and they're S corporations. You have those who are sole proprietors.
Yes.
The objective of understanding what structure do I want to form my business in is to sit down with a tax accountant, not a CPA, not a bookkeeper, not an accountant.
There's a difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant.
That's right. And a CPA. It's a difference. Personally, I have had a CPA, I've had a tax accountant, and an accountant. And when it comes to my taxes and what are the perks that I can actually receive from my business will determine to me what formation I will choose. You understand what I'm saying? So based on because you could be an LLC and your company can make multi-millions. Again, the bottom line is, what are the tax breaks are you going to get from this income versus the deductions?
So that really, I think many times we choose LLC because everybody has LLC.
Yeah, everybody has LLC, and everybody believes it's the quickest and the easiest formation, and it is. An LLC can be an individual. It could be several people. You know, you can have 3 or 4 people, and it could be an LLC. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Corporations, normally, they're going to ask you for officers. They're going to ask you for your incorporation, articles of incorporation, what that, not necessarily bylaws, but articles of incorporation. They're going to ask you for those type of documents. And so, again, you need to sit down with a tax accountant, someone who specializes in taxes. Because at the end of the day, whether you have a trust, whether you have a corporation, whether you are a sole proprietor, whether it's an S corporation or C corporation, the bottom line is what's going to be your tax advantage. That's what you want to know.
That's interesting. Now, the other part is, though, let's say I have an LLC, and I'm thinking maybe I didn't choose the right structure.
It's okay. You can change that structure easily with your Secretary of State, and you can change that structure easily with the IRS.
Okay.
It's just as simple as
But the best thing to do is to talk with...
First, go and sit down with a tax accountant. I love my tax accountant. His name is Byron Clark. He's locally here in the city. You can find him. Just look up Byron Clark. And what I love about him is he's very anal about what he does.
Yes, which is always a good thing.
Very precise in what he does and very honest in what he does. So he's going to come at you straight between the eyes. And honestly, that you answer those questions, the better your outcome will be.
Yes.
Same time for break.
Dang, Tarek. We got things to talk about. All right, Tarek. Okay, we have to take a break because the producer says so. We're going to come right back, and we're going to close out these last 15 minutes on some actions that we can take now to better our lives. We're talking building our credit. We're talking about improving our wealth and our financial standing.
Yes.
So we'll talk about some small tweaks we can make right now.
Yes.
And then that's the way we're going to close out this show.
All right. I like it.
All right, so you guys stay right there. Get your friends for this last 15 minutes. Bye. Don't not bye. We come right back. Don't go too far.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people. You provide.
Okay, I think our producer really wanted to hear what we had to say because he came back. I think he only played one commercial. That was probably a 15-second commercial. Oh, goodness. But that's all right. That's all right, though. So let's talk about what we can do to change our credit situation. What are some things that we can do?
Some of the things you could do first is pull your report, look at it, and if there's anything on there more than 7 years old, go ahead and immediately request that it be removed.
Now, see, I one time checked my credit report, and I saw that they were reporting, I think it was only like maybe a 30-day late payment, but it was like 9 years old, and they did not want to take it off my credit report.
No, they had. Well, let me just tell you, the new rule is if you have an erroneous, if you have a derogatory statement on your credit report due to a late payment, and that payment is going to expire, the term is 7 years. If the day before the 7-year ends, that creditor desires to report it again, it will go another 7 years.
That's just petty.
And that's why it's important for, and they will do that to accounts that has been owing them a large amount of money. They won't normally do that if it's a small amount. If they've charged it off, they surely won't do it.
Right.
Now, what would happen or can happen is they could sell that account to another company.
Right, and then they go running after it.
And then that company goes and renew that account.
And these companies make big money off of this because somebody's going to pay. There are going to be some people say, I'm not paying y'all, I don't even know y'all. But then there's going to be some other people say, okay, all right, what do I owe?
And that's why you want to deal with it, Rhonda. And what you can do is what we call a settlement agreement. You can call that company and say, look, I'm sorry, I apologize. I lagged in my payments, but I'm doing a little better now. So if you're willing, I'm willing to do a settlement agreement. Now, most of them will accept 50% of the debt as your settlement agreement. You might can get some of them to come down a little more, but for the normal rule is 50%. So you can say, I'll pay 50% of that debt, and most of those creditors will accept it. Now, here's the catch-22.
Okay.
You must have the money right then and there.
So no payment plans. No, I'm going to pay you on the 30th. Okay.
Now, some of them will do a 2-payment plan with you. They'll take, let's say you have a bill and it's $1,000, and you say, I want to do a settlement agreement for $500. I'll pay $250 now and $250 in 2 weeks, or $250 in 30 days. They will do that. Some of them
will. Yes.
Will.
But it's up to them.
It's up to them, not you. And so you're making an offer. It's called an offer of settlement. Okay? And so the other thing to that is make sure you get it in writing.
Yes.
Don't just do it on the phone. Say, hey, when I make this payment, I want you to send me in writing right now while we're online. Because everything today is pretty much can be done online.
Yes.
Can you email me right now that we're making this settlement agreement so that I have something in writing to keep for my records? And then I would recommend that you go ahead and file that and hold it for at least 7 years, just in case somebody else comes behind that company to come back at you for that particular account.
Okay, now here's a question. Charge-offs, settlement agreements, those can still reflect negatively against you.
Charge-offs, but settlement agreements are better than charge-offs, because the settlement agreement says to a creditor who pulls your file, you tried to do something about it, which is called due process, right? So better for you to have a settlement agreement than for you even to voluntarily surrender. It's going to go on your report that you voluntarily surrendered.
Yes.
But what happens is when you voluntarily surrender, it saves that company a whole lot of money legally from having to come after you.
Right.
So when creditors look at that, they're looking at the emotional side of you, the responsible side of you.
Yes.
Because then they're saying, well, this person has some understanding about managing money. They understand we were in a covenant. We have responsibility. They have responsibility. And they try to do something to help us, help them, help the situation. So that's why I say to everyone, you can't hide, you can't run. It's going to follow you.
Yes.
So you might as well, it's kind of like when you're in the war room, we quickly pull down the white sheet and we start planning the attack.
All right. So, now see, she about to start preaching, y'all.
So go in your war room.
Come on.
And pull down the sheets.
All right.
And begin to put into plan what your attack is going to be on your credit. The last thing you want to ever do is allow the enemy of fear to come on you. Yesterday, I called one of my mentees, and she didn't answer. So I emailed and I said, okay, your 1 hour is going to be up because you didn't respond to my call. My time is valuable. She hurried up and called me back. She said, I didn't know the number. I thought you were going to call from the office number. I said, well, I'm calling from my cell phone, blah, blah, blah. I said, but watch this. You ignored the call because you didn't know the phone number. You could have just missed out on a major blessing.
Yes.
See how fear can cause us to be blocked and stopped?
It really does, because we don't want to tell anybody that we're in a situation.
Yeah.
And it's hard to talk about finances, especially if you're not where you want to be, or if everybody thinks you're right here, but you may actually be here. You don't want to tell everybody that.
But nobody is where we want to be.
Right.
Let's just face it. It is the natural state of a man. And when I say man, woman, man, whatever, the natural human side of us is to always want more.
Yes.
My score is 800. I want it to be 9. You understand what I'm saying?
I didn't know there were 900 credit scores.
It can get up to 950.
Really?
So my
okay,
point
that's what I'm going for.
You understand what I'm saying? We always want more.
Yes.
Especially if you're competitive, like I am. You always want to go higher. You always want to do better. You always want more. So there's no such thing as I'm embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Listen, I filed bankruptcy twice in my life. Barnum Bailey filed bankruptcy at 63. He became a millionaire at 65.
Woo.
Federal Express, I think he filed bankruptcy 3 times before he got Federal Express off the ground. President of the United States, Donald Trump. I don't think you can use a greater example of how many times he filed bankruptcy. And it doesn't necessarily mean that when you bankrupt, you were a bad money manager. It just means that you ended up on the bad end of the stick of some things. You know, it could have been anything. Could have been an economy, you know, a collapse in the market.
Yes.
I've seen people, you know, drain their retirement accounts. I've seen people cash in CDs, you know, just came across a bad way financially and have had to drain every resource they've had and still ended up in deep water. So, you know, that's why you thank God for the bankruptcy. You thank God for the ability to reorganize.
Okay, well, let me ask you this now. Let's say you do have a bankruptcy, a foreclosure, what have you, something big that's going to be on your credit report for a long time. Can you still build your credit with something like that on your score?
Yes. Soon as the bankruptcy court releases you, it's discharge. You'll get your discharge letter. Now, when you're in Chapter 13, you're going to have to wait until you've completed your 13th time. And usually that's 7 years, contingent on the amount of money that you owe.
Years.
No, 10 years is for Chapter 7.
Gotcha.
Okay, now Chapter 7 releases you of all debt, but the laws have changed, the rules to the game have changed, and so today for you to file Chapter 7, you have to almost be on Skid Row. Means you can't own anything.
Right.
You can't have no money. You can't have no nothing.
Yes.
If you're going to file Chapter 13, immediately once you're discharged, creditors are going to come after you. You don't even have to really worry about it because they know you can't file again for another 7 years. You can't file again for another 10 years.
Okay, well, but let's say, okay, I filed a bankruptcy or I lost a house or I lost a car, something like that. Can I just continue to pay what I still have on time? Does that help me to?
Yeah, because in your bankruptcy, there's a system called stay. You want to do a stay. And when you say you want to do a stay, you're letting those creditors with your car note, with your house, I want to keep this. So what they'll do is take your back payments that you're behind and put them in the 13.
Okay.
Okay. And then they'll bring you up to date and you just continue to make your payments on time. Now, the catch-22 with a Chapter 13 is if you miss, the bank has the right to rescind. Okay. Because you made an agreement.
Yes.
You came into covenant, right? If you find yourself slipping back into darkness, then I would recommend call the creditor first and see what you could work out with the creditor.
It's good to just have a communication with them.
Yeah, it is. And then if that way, if there is nothing that they will agree to, then the next step would be to immediately call your bankruptcy lawyer so that they can go back into the courtroom and refile your case to submit whatever your new challenges are.
Okay, so apparently it's time to wrap up. You see how he does? He on it tonight, man. All right, so I hope you guys got a lot out of this. There was a lot of information tonight talking about rebuilding your credit, building your wealth, financial empowerment. We even talked a bit about small businesses and your structure. So I hope that you were able to get a lot out of this. Remember, look for do-it-yourself credit repair guide. Living in Victory, Do It Yourself. Where can people find this book?
They can find it at any one of the bookstores, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Lulu.com, or you can go right to my website, YGLIV.com, or you can go to YulondaGriffin.com.
And you have a book signing coming up.
Yes, I have a book signing next Saturday from 11 to 1 at the Gospel Bookstore on West Bank Expressway. I'll be there signing. Also, Friday at 9 a.m., I'll be at the Breaking the Silence conference speaking at 9 a.m. on Kingdom Mindset, Business Solutions.
Yes.
And you can register there at btsexperience.com. It's free and open to the public. Come out, guys. Listen, whatever you do, don't allow the spirit of fear or ignorance stop or block you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you
This
for
was a
having
great,
me.
great
I was
show.
honored to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad. If you ever want to come back, all you have to do is call me up and say, Rhonda, what you doing? Who you got on the show?
Okay.
And you know we're going to make room for you.
Thank you.
And for you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Do not forget, tomorrow is the last day for you to submit your photos for the photo contest. What we've been doing is asking people to take a picture with their favorite book.
Oh.
And tell us why you love that book.
Take a picture, guys.
Yes, take a picture with this book right here. And then starting on the 15th, we're going to be posting the pictures, and we want you guys to vote on them. And the photo that gets the most votes will win 2 free tickets to an Essence Music Festival contest. So it's going to be really cool. We're promoting literacy. We're getting people into the groove. We're getting people ready for Essence. And all you have to do is just take a picture with your book. No purchase necessary. So we want you to be a part of this. Do not forget, submit your photos. Go to the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page for more information on how to submit. So once again, thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight. Don't forget, continue to share the show. Let people know about this because this is very valuable information that's really going to change our futures, and it's going to change our mindsets and the way we think about money.
Yes.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Y'all have a great night. We'll see you next week with 2 more exciting authors.